Hey everybody, this is Jynnette The Oracle and welcome to Oracle Talks. In case we have not seen each other yet, happy new calendar year of 2026. There was an Oracle Talks last week, so if you missed it, definitely check it out. There's a new playlist for 2026 Oracle Talks, so it is there. I'll also be sure to link it at the end of this video so you can go check that out if you have not seen it already. I do highly recommend because it was a great messages, a lot of spirit bombs in a way kind of came through. So I think it'll be very, very beneficial. But today I was really called and guided to get messages for the ancestors for us about all of the main areas of life. So I'm going to do a 12 house spread, specifically looking at each of the 12 houses and the guidance that the ancestors have. As I was sitting with them before I came on live, to be clear, these messages may or may not resonate. It just depends on where you are. So the messages themselves are timeless that I'm going to be relaying here. Timeless meaning at different stages, circumstances, parts of the cycle of your life, different timelines of your life, certain aspects of these messages may be relevant. So please do listen to all. Again, they may not feel resonant now. They may have been pertinent or been resonant for what you experienced in the past, or it may be something that you eventually will be stepping into. It just depends. But definitely take what resonates and leave what does not. Now, we are shifting into a very specific, in terms of the astrology, a very specific threshold into new cycles, okay? Because we're moving out of this Pisces energy with the outer planets into Aries in this whole first quarter of 2026, starting later on this month, of course, with Neptune, if I remember correctly. So, you know, the continual releasing of things and feeling the speed that comes with that, the smoothness, the ease, the flow that comes with that, the sense of opening and abundance, etc., that comes with that. They go hand in hand. So, you know, wherever you are in that process of release, expansion, trying new things, seeing where you're going, like all of that is definitely par for the course and is infusing all of the energy that I know I myself have been tapping into and feeling into for a while. Not even just like with the new year, but I've been feeling this for a while. This big kind of collective shift. And yeah, it dawned on me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's because of these larger planetary cycles that are happening and, you know, being alive at this time. It's a different kind of quality because it's like everybody is getting pushed out of this birth canal, if you will, into this new life, regardless of where we've been, what we've done, any kind of work, any kind of goals, any whatever. Yeah, just new cycle beginning. So it's a very interesting feeling, interesting experience. So let me know if any of that resonates or how the experience has been for you. I'd be very interested to hear that. But I'm going to get the cards out. I'm pulling from the Akashic Tarot Oracle deck for these 12 cards. So let's take a moment first to settle in. Evening from London. I was trying to check in on YouTube and noticed you were live. Yep. See, Spirit is calling. The ancestors are calling specifically too, but yeah, Spirit in general is calling. So welcome from London. And yeah, it's evening because I think you guys are 7 to 8 hours ahead. I'm in California, so our dates go back and forth depending on the time of the year. But yeah, it is. I'm assuming early relative evening for you all. But welcome for joining. But yeah, let's actually start with a short meditation to get into it, and then we will start. Okay. So you can either close your eyes or have eyes open and just pick a spot on the floor directly in front of you. And we're going to focus on breathing first. You're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then inhale for a count of 4. And that count of 4 can be at whatever pace is comfortable for you. But essentially, make sure all of those stages are equal. And as you progress through these cycles of breath, call in the power and the presence of your personal, beneficial, and elevated and honorable ancestors, as well as your personal guardian angels and protectors and guides, healers and teachers. Asking them to help align you, balance you, and help open up your heightened senses and your abilities to perceive and understand and receive information that is being communicated. In this sacred space, in this time of sacred counsel and communication, I call in the power and the presence of the spirits of the elements, the spirits of the directions, as well as the archangels of light and seraphim of light, to please neutralize, cancel, clear, and delete any and all harmful energies or entities, thought forms, cords, or attachments, and to please purify, sanctify, and divinitize each of our souls, the spaces we are inhabiting, and this transmission. Raise our collective vibrational frequency, leveraging the galactic energy that we are bathing in from our ancient parent, the galactic center of the Milky Way galaxy. As well as from our own sun, the parent of our solar system, and the grounding harmonic resonance of the very planet on which we live, Earth itself. May our unique and authentic soul tone vibrate vibrantly within this sacred symphony of cosmic light and energy and sound. And may we align with our higher self, our soul consciousness, our soul heart, our soul will, removing any and all obstructions to this alignment and resting in that which is timeless. We give thanks to Mother Source, Mother Father Source for existence itself and our ability to play in existence and experience the infinite things available to experience. For this gift and privilege, we give thanks. Amen. All right, so I am going to get the cards out. As I'm doing this, I invite you to continue to enjoy this meditative state. If you're already getting messages or anything, feel free to write those down. So quick announcements. my schedule, my books are back open again. I will be updating my availability for the week ahead over the weekend. So check back in on Sunday to see the availability for sessions. If you are a new client, whether you just want to have a one-off session or you're interested in longer term private coaching, you would schedule a session for you would schedule a full spectrum session with me. And then any returning clients, you can book an individual session, a business session if you're an entrepreneur and want to work on some business stuff, whichever floats your boat. Also in the description below, I do have links for the 2026 astrology planning workshop, as well as the 2026 spiritual new year event. So check those out to get the guidance for the year ahead. We are definitely tracking with what came through in the spiritual new year channeling. So don't sleep on that. Definitely check that out. But the astrology planning workshop is really good for giving you an overview without having you get overwhelmed with all of the astrology. So you have a clear through line for what to expect, both internally and externally, as well as personally and entrepreneurially, depending on your situation. So definitely check those out. Like I said, below. And if you haven't already, the January astrology report is out now on the blog. It is a very busy astrological month, so definitely be sure to check that out. And again, that link is in the bio. Or anytime you go to the blog, I'll always have the current month's astrology report up. Welcome to new folks who are coming in. Please do say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're joining from, what you might be sipping on, if anything. I actually have some coffee right now. Your girl's been working a lot this week, so I need the extra boost of caffeine. But it is all good. It's sunny. It basically feels like summer right now here in California, Southern California. So it's a little odd, but we're here. We're appreciating it. We just have some like major temperature swings of like 30 degrees. If it gets into the low 40s or the upper 40s rather, and then it's like in the 70s in the daytime. So it's definitely a journey. A message that's coming through right now as I chuckle is the messages are going to take their time to come out, and that is specifically because it's to convey how important it is to allow yourself to relax and take your time. Taking your time doesn't mean that you are going slow, but what you are doing is literally taking time and paying attention for the indication when that which you are seeking actually appears, or the clarity on when it is to act or to move. And there's a noticeable lack of pushing to make something happen because it's a waste of energy. You want all of the energy that you would be using to deploy in whatever action you're going to take to be used for the thing, right? And wasting energy worrying or in a state of anticipation is just not the vibe. It's a relaxed laser focus. Let me know if that resonates with you. This may be something that's very different from how you usually operate. You might be used to using or relaying anxiety as a measure of progress. So it's a good time to reconsider that. Oh, if you haven't already, please do. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please do like the video. If you haven't already signed up for my newsletter, please do that as well. I have the link to sign up in the description below. Some beautiful energy coming out. I'll share it in a second. Okay. So we are definitely getting a message. You know how I mentioned about like this threshold of being birthed into the new, like so releasing the old and opening up into expansion into the new. It is very much coming through right now. Let's see. Comment says totally confirms the messages I've been getting this week. I normally tend to work quite fast. Anything I've tried to do at my old way has been thwarted in some way. Yeah. Don't rush has been the message. Yeah, for sure. And again, it's definitely not don't act, but it's like, like don't rush. Like we can't do things the way we used to do. We got to do things differently. Y'all already know that's my motto in business for my business clients, entrepreneur clients. Is like it is time, and it's been time to do business differently. So I'm here for it. I'm glad that resonates. But yeah, this central message is caught in the ruins. This is essentially like a self-defeatist card. Is what that card relates to. Is like these people actually do have the ability to get out, but their mindsets, their framework for the world, their perspective, whatever, is keeping them from taking that action, or at least this is the state. So this could be something that you are constantly battling and need to kind of overcome, or you could see this message overall as being like, oh, the last thing, quote unquote, that needs to be addressed now is where you might unknowingly be keeping yourself um, like locked down, imprisoned, not moving unintentionally. Like you might not even realize you're doing it. Sometimes you know, but in other cases, you might not actually realize, like, oh, this is like I'm waiting for something, or like I don't even realize like I'm not taking action on something because of this mindset. So yeah, we'll see what comes up. So let's look at each of the 12 houses. Oh, for folks who are new, if you would like to donate to this work, I do have my donation information scrolling at the bottom of the screen as well as in the description box. So if you'd like to buy me some coffee or again support the work, feel free to do that as well. It is appreciated. Let's see if I want to go in order or pick and choose. I will talk about all 12, but let me just see, because the energy really is really beautiful, which then makes sense why this is here in the center, because again, this is a This may or may not be a prison of one's own making. They might have been put there due to circumstances outside of their control, or as a consequence of their own actions, like their own karma put them here. But the maintenance of that which has been imprisoning them, has decomposed to the point where they can get out, right? Um, or again, a situation where it's just like it's just mindset at this point. Like there's not actually anything external, that is preventing this shift or this transition into the new. So it's giving Wheel of Fortune vibes, but whereas Wheel of Fortune is, this external bigger wheel of beneficial energy or opportunity that pops up for you, this is saying like, oh, you can turn the wheel. It's giving more chariot energy, not necessarily like fight, but it feels more like you can actually turn the wheel yourself. Excuse me. Okay. I'm actually going to start with the 12th house. Okay. So I'm starting with the 12th house here, which is card number 21, Uriel and the Sphinx. So this card, I'm just going to be going off the cuff because I'm not feeling the pull to go to the book. So I'm just going to go off of what I know, remember what comes through for the messages in these cards. But one, this talks about the presence of Archangel Uriel. So if you do have a connection to Uriel, or if it's been a while since you've connected to Uriel, this would be a good time for that. Uriel is and can be associated with Uranus, which is now the current ruler of Aquarius. So it might also do well to start to get used to this archangel's energy, or even just a planetary energy, since we're also going to have more of that Aquarian energy be more dominant as Pluto sits in that energy more, and we have Uranus trining that in Gemini starting this year. Oh, welcome. Welcome from Florida and North Carolina. Nice. Um, so that may be a connection in general, but this is talking about being in relationship to the great mysteries, and um, specifically looking to that, being in conversation with that, being in communion with that, um, and expand. I was hearing specifically expanding spiritually. So this may be more knowledge acquisition that needs to happen. Um, Again, within this context of you breaking out of something that you actually have the power to get out of. Okay. So there's a shift in perspective spiritually that needs to happen. What's interesting though is this feels like certainty. This feels like you do know a lot. But even the archangel is staring with wonder at this great feat that has been constructed. So it does represent the past as well. Something great and incredible has been built. Important experiences have been had, whether positive, neutral, or negative. Yeah, this is a this is a deeper message about, why was something like this built? Why were certain experiences had? Um, what were the dreams, the goals, the desires, the visions? Because it had to be big, it had to be challenging, it had to be really open and curious to imagine and then um, convert that to action. And because this is coming up in the 12th house, this is saying this is a core function of our beingness. Like, this is actually how we are to operate. So the depths that we are seeking, the mystery that we're seeking, the potential clarity that we're seeking, where we are pretending that we are blocked and we don't know how to get out of this prison, um, wasn't a factor in the past, even though we most likely had similar constraints. And it's not about finding replicating the exact thing to redo over again, but it's getting to that unknown quality, that inner fire, that inner desire, which is what is trying to emerge. And that is there. It is deep in the 12th house, within the deeper subconscious and unconscious. It stands the test of time because it's a soul level aspect. And we don't ever have just one big accomplishment, because I mean, as you can see in the distance, there are also the pyramids back there. So it's like, okay, pyramids were built. That was incredible. I mean, then, built a Sphinx. That's incredible. What comes after the Sphinx? Because I'm sure once the pyramids were built, then it was like, okay, well, this is the height, this is the pinnacle, but then a new desire, new wonder came through using similar tools, right? But creating something different with those same tools. So then what comes next? And that comes from this contemplation of what went into that, what went into making that. So again, like I said, Archangel Uriel may be helpful in um, shining that higher mind, or allowing the higher mind to speak through, and provide light and clarity as you settle in very sacred contemplation of your own akasha, your own soul, really, is what this is. To find that undying fire, that undying flame that was both the inspiration and the fuel and the sustaining energy to do multiple great works. Now, obviously, this is a um, this is just an example, being given to use as reference across scale. So, this could be from um, changing relationships, specific relationships within your family. This could be choosing to love again in a relationship. This could be um, creative projects that you've done. Like, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's the feats are big in relation to you. They're important and impactful in relation to you and your own experience. But this is the 12th house message. And again, because this is the heart of it, the 16, the caught in the ruins. Any feeling or sense of you don't know where to go next or what to do next is purely because this work needs to happen, needs to get done. Because it's there in the depths of your own soul. And you have direct access to it because it's your own soul. So that's the guidance from ancestors for that house, 12th house. Now, with that information, let's move on to the first house. So for that, we have the Two of Forces, the Willow. Now, this talks about like the immense amount of power, soul power, creative power that we have individually as souls. And being the first house, this is like literally our energy in the world. This is our energy, regardless of relationship, regardless of work, regardless of health. Like this is us. Okay. Welcome to folks who are coming in. Please do say hello in the comments. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. And happy new year of the Gregorian calendar. What I like with this imagery is that there is a light that is literally glowing and emitting from this willow tree, and it's shining. So for me, this is very much speaking to the importance of allowing your energy to flow and expand, and specifically working on those ways using whatever tools and knowledge you have access to facilitate more of that energetic free flow of energy so that more of your light shines through. This could be getting back to a meditation practice if you have not been meditating. This could be engaging in an asana practice to open up the meridians as well as take care of health. This could be changing how you eat. It's listening to music, getting back into creative arts, like whatever helps you to be more lit up is the thing. So if you've been feeling like, oh, I have low energy, or um, outside of health concerns, of course, but um, yeah, if there's doubt about who you are, that's not coming from a real place, because this is what is really true here in the soul itself, in how you're expressing in this life. Like you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of power. Now, something that's actually coming to mind right now that is really interesting, and it's not ever come up about this card, but given that it's in the first house, I think this is key, especially for all this Aries energy that we're shifting into. This willow tree is the only willow tree. It's not part of a forest, right? Like it's not part of an ecosystem where there are many willow trees with it. There are obviously other plants and animals, even humans in the back, because there's a castle in the back. There's a variety here, but it's the only willow tree here. Now there might be one further down the stream, the river, we don't know, we only can see here, but in the immediate vicinity, it's just it. So this is a standalone I am, right? It's not this is not pick me energy. It's also not like overly confident energy. It's just I am, I exist. I am unique in this. I'm not trying to be rosebush. I'm not trying to be bird flying overhead. I'm not trying to be the grass. I'm not trying to be the ants. I know my job is to be willow tree. I am that I am, regardless of circumstances, regardless of other people's cosign or approval or sameness. And I know this is difficult to do when you're not surrounded by folks who are vibing in the same way. And you may say, like, oh, this person is the grass, they're low vibe. But no, grass is important. Just as river is important, just as bird is important. Everybody has their part to play. Your job is to be willow. And if you are second guessing or doubting that, this is a prison of your own creation. It either has been, and you need to break out of it, or it has been something you've been battling that you need to break out of, or you might not realize that you are operating from this place and it's time to now snap out of it. Okay. Whatever you need to do to get that right. So, it might be energy work, it might be working with a therapist because, these are some long-standing ruins. So this might take some deeper chiseling that you can't do on your own. Just because this is a singular expression doesn't mean that the the further emanation of the energy can happen just on your own. This might need to happen in a relationship with a mental health professional. So you know your situation. Welcome from Atlanta. Oh, you got coffee too? Come on, coffee crew. Are you a medium roast or dark roast person? But welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. All right, so that was first house. Let me see if there's still a little bit more. Let me get some clarifying with that. Let me move on to money. But any additional insight on first house message? And yeah, this is coming through strong from the ancestors. Even if you are not happy with the fact that, yes, come on, dark roast and black, yes, I love it. Because we only do dark roast over here. Sometimes I do have it black but usually if I do that, I'm doing an espresso. But anywho, um, it's important not to allow if this is the case for you, because again, take the message if they resonate, because this is not going to be for everybody. But if it's a situation for you where you're not happy where you are, this a very simple example would be like you're not happy at the job that you have for whatever reason, either the work itself or the people that you're working with, whatever, right? That can, depending on your personality, start putting you in a position where you stop showing up as yourself, either because of resentment, bitterness, not wanting to be seen or noticed, by folks because you don't want to be a topic of discussion because you don't have a good relationship with, whatever it is. But what that ends up doing is like dimming your light and you not showing up as who you authentically are. Um, right. So basically, like adjusting yourself um, to mask yourself rather than adjusting yourself for the specific context which you're in, which is appropriate. Like if you're in a professional like banking situation, like you need to show up in a certain way, like that's an appropriate adjustment of self to a degree, right? Because you have dress protocols, etc. But beyond that which is actually required for the job, the additional adjusting of self, whatever the reason, is really being addressed here. Like it's coming through strong of like you not showing up, again, regardless of context, because you're not happy with the environment. Okay, whatever the not happy with environment is, whether that's coming from like loneliness, again, irritation, what have you. So this is a prison of one's own mind and one's own making. Regardless of what is around you, your light should not be dimmed. And that's something that has to be released in that first house. If this is coming through so strongly, this is coming through as a message for everybody in some context. So we're gonna take the medicine. Um, I hear you, spirit. We're gonna take the medicine. But that's a really strong way where we oppress ourselves. And there actually is no reason for it. There's no good reason for it. Now, obviously, if you're in a situation where there's like literal, threat of violence to yourself, we're in a completely different conversation. So, let's be reasonable. But for most of the folks who is going to be getting this message, you're operating from a certain level of privilege and safety and security where we're not in that vein. So, yeah. Adjusting yourself to mask yourself, right? Right. Okay, so now let's get into money because capitalism has us obsessed with money. So our card for this is the Queen of Roses. So this is second house message. Now, again, I see a lot of new folks coming in. Please say hello in the comments. These messages may or may not be for you. So just take them as they resonate because you might have already gone through it and be on the other side, or it may be something that is about to come up that you have to address. So, yeah. So the Queen of Roses, if I remember correctly, is akin to like the Queen of Cups energy in this deck. That's neither here nor there. What's beautiful about this image is the abundance that you can feel, the sensuality. And it's abundance of the things and the experiences and the feelings that is important to this person, right? Because this person in this context is some type of royal or higher up in their society, just given by the dress and the physical location that they're in. But their intention and their love and their focus is on these roses. That seems like they probably are the ones that they're cultivating themselves. It's not on a new outfit or what have you. Not that it can't be, but it's just, again, the focus tends to be on um, these things with simple pleasure. And actually, as I look a little closer, it looks like the rose is pink compared to the other roses, which are red. So this might be like a unique thing that popped up, out of nowhere. Hello, welcome. Um, So this may be an important message about two things I'm feeling. So I do feel an increase in just money energy overall with this, but the focus being on cultivating an appreciation of gratitude for what you have. And this is also a very creative energy as well too. Being creative and exploring what you have and how to make that multiply. Yeah, the focus is coming through really strong. Like there's not attention being paid on the other things around. And it's not that it's not important, but there needs to be a greater clarity on, or maybe just deeper gratitude for what you have. Let's get deeper into that. Because it seems like the vibe, the feeling that is there is that as you sit in that space, and the word in particular, cultivation of working with what you have and an appreciation of that, an appreciation, not just a feeling aspect, but appreciation where, again, you're working with truly what you have. Um, Directly or indirectly, and that creates this aura of flow, and it's like more flow can come, and it essentially matches this state of relaxation. So for those of you here earlier, when I was initially getting the cards out, and I was talking about how like because they were taking their time to get the cards to me for these messages, and it was a much more relaxed pace than what tends to happen. And it was a really clear message about like taking your time, and that taking the time isn't a slowing down, but it's a hyper focus so that you know exactly when to act, because things line up, and so there's not a waste of energy through anxiety or hypervigilance or what have you, right? And so that's a similar vibe that I'm actually getting from here, is like this increase, because it's feeling like very strong environmental money energy. So it could be local environment or like greater, societal environment, regardless of circumstances or whatever you are dealing with. Um, but it feels like it's all around, and this flow um, is able to come through much more clearly in relation to how well that state of relaxation and not wasting energy is able to be maintained as the flow increases, which sounds like and feels like a mic drop. The ability to remain regulated and to like regulate it across, not even just emotionally, but like mentally regulated, nervous system regulated, managing responsibilities in life regulated, being able to continue to play and have fun regulated type of way, and like the actual costs associated with certain types of abundance, and in this case, financial. That capacity versus capability question, right? Ooh, that came out quick. Okay, so these clarifying cards came out quick. It's interesting because there's also a message coming up here around why some amounts of money are wanted, and it's not a judgment to say, like, you can't have more, but more of like a, you know, actually get to the depths and root of it. Because for some, it's, you're not being real about what you need. Um, for others, ego may be hyper fixated on a particular number, but it's not correlating to capacity that you are willing to cultivate, to maintain. Um, Meaning like you're striving for something that you actually can't handle because you're not training yourself to handle it. Also, sorry, this just feels this just feels like it's coming for throats right now, coming for folks' necks. Um, all these clarifying cards are all like watery energy too. So the emotions are huge here. Like I can't even get around it. So it's not even a mindset thing. Um, Actually, no, let me fall back. Some of it is emotion, so that might be like half of y'all. Some of it is actual energy, which does, obviously correlate to body's capacity. Um, but yeah, this is honestly, I love that this is coming out in this context because I did briefly mention about your actual energy body in that first house, and obviously, and second house is built off of that. It's the foundation. It's really giving you need to understand how you work and how your soul works, like point blank, in order to um, leverage that to unlock, not even unlock because it's not being kept from you. So let me change that language. In order to access the big financial energy, the money energy I find around you. Like there needs to be a deeper understanding of really how you work and how you operate. And because this is the heart of the message, how you work and how you operate, how you've been doing that up to this point, whether you realize it or not, because this may have been a struggle for a while. The unconscious things, not the external stuff. Um, this has been getting in the way of what you say you want, and it's in your control. This requires a leap of faith because you have to go by your own soul's wisdom, not necessarily your comfort, but your soul's wisdom. So for some of you, this may require more output because you require more action, more activity. You need to be doing more things. You need more structure. Some of you do actually require that. For others of you, um, your recovery time is huge. So you might have periods where you put in a lot of effort and um, you might be more of a project-based person, but once you give all that you give for particular projects, and then you need to be out of commission for a while to recalibrate. Like it really can uh be anything along the spectrum. And it is going to develop over time because what might have been there for you in terms of how you operate it and been in flow in terms of being able to access more money, because we are talking actually about money, not the feeling of abundance, money, um, was different from what's there for you now and what your soul has experienced and yada, yada, yada in your 30s versus your 40s versus your 50s. So that, and again, we are shifting into this new Aries time. So there is just a greater cycle that has closed out. And we're being asked, regardless, what is there on the soul level? Because we did incarnate during these times. So our soul knows and is very clear that we need to make money. Okay. But yeah, it's a lot of digging. So we already had that with the 12th house. But in terms of money, in order for you to access the money, because it is there. So if there's a question of like, can I make more money now? The answer is yes. Let me be clear. That might not have been the case in the past, but you can make more money now. So it's not a if you can, it's a how do you. And the how that's coming from the ancestors is not earth-based stuff, because we do kind of already know that. We've probably could write a book about the things that we've learned, experience, and how to make money. This is, you need to actually figure out your capacity. You need to figure out subconscious and unconscious ways that you are not able to handle more, and what more actually means, what stuff comes up for you when you have more. What your energetic costs really are, because everything has a cost. Money is just a physical representation of an exchange, but there is an energetic correlation as well. Exploitation is exploitation in any context. So, yeah. What I can say though, there's a lot coming in on this because obviously money is a big thing for folks. What I can say though is that having more will require that focus that I was talking about earlier, because the wasted energy and the wasted focus is not going to be conducive for accessing more at this time. And for some folks, it might be as simple of, if you want more money, focus on getting more money. Like, don't say you want more money and literally be doing everything but investing time, energy, and resources into making more money. But also, don't repeat behaviors and actions from the past with new branding and think that's going to give you more money. If it didn't work before, it's not going to work now. It didn't work for a reason. Listen, take the medicine. It's all love. All right. Obviously, this is going to be a long one today because Spirit is dropping the gems, but it's okay. All right. Let me know if that resonates. Comment if you feel um, confident about it in the comments. Sorry, just checking. Okay. Moving on to third house. So we have Three of Roses, loving elementals. So third house is our okay, so they want me to use that language again. So this is the marketplace. Marketplace meaning local marketplace as well as mental marketplace. So local meaning physical connections that you have with people, places, and things that make up your world that you navigate in. So, um, you know, people that you interact with, um, the physical weather, clothes that you wear, all those things, as well as the things that you watch and listen to, the social media you consume, the things that you read, all of that, it makes up the world of your marketplace where you are exchanging ideas or consuming, but exchanging ideas, feelings, etc. So it's that place of exchange. So it's um, it's both the conscious, intimate spaces as well as the spaces that inform the intimate relations and connections that we have. This can obviously relate to, siblings, close friends, local travel, um, skill development, getting certifications, licenses like so shorter educational cycles versus longer educational cycles. So all of that is connected to third house. Okay, so whatever is going to be relevant for you, you stick with that. Three of Roses, loving elementals is literally the support from um, nature spirits, animals. It could be like literally fairies and sprites, but also like animals, the birds, insects, trees, the water around you, um, who are there to support you and be a part of the. Um, oh, I'm not doing personal readings. So, with this being in the heart of the message, the caught in the ruins, um, this doesn't have to be literally about the nature around you helping, although it obviously can. But in general, this idea that you don't have help and support is something that has to be addressed if it's being brought up by the ancestors. Even if, as I mentioned with the willow card in that first one, where you're the only willow and no one else is around you who is like you, um, even in that context, right, you do still have support, even if it's non physical. Okay. You might not prefer it, but it is there. You're not actually ever alone. You're not actually ever without support. So moving and operating, oh, this is interesting. Yeah, moving and operating where the unseen has as much weight and value as the seen in terms of what you feel as connection, community, the marketplace, that which informs, thoughts, beliefs, actions, etc., is important to address and to deal with here. because this is a space, this is an area where you possibly have blocked yourself if this is resonating with you. If it's not, it doesn't, but this could easily come up, especially with the education piece where you feel like you can't or that it's gonna be difficult for you to learn new things or develop new skills, like, there is help and support there for you, okay? And it might not be, like, literal physical people around you that you know, but this might be, folks who have educational materials on, like, YouTube that you can watch to help you, right? But there's support. Like, everything is the marketplace, okay? Um, yeah, so accept the help, and even if there's some help that you're accepting, there's still more available. So lean into all of it. Like, that's okay. See if there's anything else with this. Yeah, you might only for in that second group, you might only be focusing on like relying on one type of help, um, or one source of information, again, whether physical or non-physical. Uh, but there is more help. You can expand that into to more, even if it's just more insight. And that may be just as simple as like returning to help that you've relied on in the past that maybe you've just kind of fallen off with. But if you're in a situation where it feels conflictual, or you're like having difficulty trusting people, you very much need to lean on the spirit because spirit is always clear in communicating what you need to know, hands down. Your intuition will always be clear, but spirit will also be clear. Okay, so let's move on to fourth house. So this is your literal home, your physical home environment, apartment, condo, house, whatever, as well as your sense of emotional security and safety and sense of stability as well, because it doesn't have to be emotions, but like you feel safe, like you have your survival needs met. Um, you feel physically safe, you feel safe in the environments that you're in, whether that is literally at home or at work or what have you. So all of that goes into play with your sense of um, internal safety. Okay. Obviously, there's actual physical safety. That's not what this is talking about. This is what you control, this fourth house. This can also relate to the mother or women in the family. So it's three of scrolls, setting your course. Okay, so in this image, I don't know if you can see, there is a rainbow off to the here in the distance, and you see the captain at the front of the ship with the well, it's not binoculars because it's one, but you know what I mean. But it's looking off into the distance. So, and obviously the message is setting your course. So this is about um, being in that place where you can clearly see where you want to go to get to a place of emotional stability. So, for those of you where this is relevant, because again, like I said earlier, all these messages are for different people. If you are wanting to get to this, you have to know where you're going and what this security, this emotional stability what have you, actually means and what it looks like so you know where to go. There's still plans about how to get there because you see the two people in the back, considering the maps, and there's, all the how is going to get worked out eventually. But the captain's job, the navigator's job, I guess, is not to be doing this work with them. They first has to be like, hey, we're going over there, right? And then that informs this. So again, with this caught in the ruins, if you are in a situation where you have not felt emotionally grounded, stable, safe within yourself, what have you, whether it's been an ongoing problem or if you didn't realize it was an issue and it is an issue after this, this message, this is something within your power to break out of. For the most part on your own, but again, if you need support, work with a therapist to do that, because these people are definitely like depressed and downtrodden, and they're not able to see that they can get out. But that's what required, because they're on a ship, so this is not even so much about a physical home, although it could be for some of you. You're like, I don't like where I live, either the community or the actual location, the building itself. I don't like it. um, that's all well and good, but where do you want to go? What other location or what other type of building would you prefer? And until that general destination is clear, you're not going to be able to get out of whatever this emotional unstable energy is. Now, this may be longer term for some folks, where they're not like, oh, I immediately want to physically leave where I am and find something new, but I'm considering it for the possibilities. But this is also a thing of like, well, if you know down the road you do want to physically leave where you are, if it's not an emotional thing, but a physical change, you do actually need to start creating a vision of, well, what would be next for you? Because doing that work will start to clarify things, whether it's you making a decision on your own or with others, but it'll start to clarify things and um, help you to find what it is that you are looking for and be able to recognize it when it shows up, so you know, like, okay, I need to actually take action on this, or I can wait. Um, if that's the case for those of you looking to physically move eventually or even immediately, you already have experience with this. So you already have the experience of previously having a vision or an idea of what you prefer, what's an absolute must in terms of um, what you require for the physical location, etc. So you're to do the same thing as it relates to this. Um, it's the same work, because again, this message from the 12th house is relevant here. Okay, you know what you need to do with that. And the first is like getting clear about the non-negotiables, essentially. Get clear on the non-negotiables and start letting that vision take hold. Let's see if there's anything else for that before we move on to fifth house. Yeah. Yeah, nothing about that about the physical move feels rushed if that is the case for those of you that this resonates with. Um, the only other message, I guess, with that is making sure that your finances are um, again able to handle what it is that you ask for and what that's required. Okay, so moving on to fifth house. So we have the Six of Keys in crescent moon. So this is the moon that is waxing and starting to get bigger. And the fifth house has to deal with creativity, future energy, right? This could be risk taking, going after goals, children. There's also a house I associate with romance, whether you're with somebody or not. Um, but yeah, so Six of Keys in crescent moon. So an increase of energy here. Now, this context is extremely creative because you see an artisan like practicing both with drawing as well as like um, different aspects of creating form. And there is one piece in particular that he seems to be taking further in terms of his work. Um, but yeah, what is this about? This is interesting. This does feel specifically like for creative energy and like for the artists out there. So again, if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Move on. But for the creatives, again, in this context of being caught in the ruins, this is very much giving the vibe of creative energy and exploration and potentially skill development is starting to bubble up. So, you know, for those folks who might have been feeling like they have had writer's block or just artist block in whatever context of art that you engage in, um, that is shifting and has been shifting. And I will say has been shifting because it's the in crescent moon. It's not a new moon. So that energy has already been building. You've already been starting to feel it. It's being brought up to be like, hey, yes, ancestors are saying, ancestors are saying, this is not just your imagination. This is not just how you're feeling in this moment emotionally. This is actually now that creative wave coming back up if you've been in a creative lull. The creative lull is not a failure, it's not a bad thing, it is a necessary part of rest and restoration for that creative force, that creative energy. We do need winter. Like the soil has to be left alone and able to rest in order to be able to generate more for spring and summer and the future seasons, right? So coming out of that winter phase and now essentially coming into the spring season, that creative energy is starting to bubble. So lean into the creative exploration, whatever that is going to look like. Um, but specifically in a focus into something specific. So this is less about exploration for the sake of exploration and really more so allowing yourself to get back to that space of more skin in the game. Excuse me, meaning you're putting in more time, resources, focus into producing creative work. So there's a difference between creative play and creative development. Creative play is you try lots of different things. There is not an expectation of having a particular outcome. It's just for the experience. It's just for the vibes. It's just to create fertilizer for the soil, right? So one week you could be, taking a chef's class. Another week you could be um, doing martial arts. Another week you could be watching a bunch of old movies. Another week you could be trying to play an instrument. It's play, right? This is, I actually want to focus on one of these things that I've been playing with or that I want to pick up again and start developing this thing. Whatever this is, it most likely is something that already has been bubbling, right? So it most likely it's not going to be something like completely new. But this is the thing, development rather than play. Now, if this is coming up in the context of caught in the ruins, then you might have been resistant to shift into development phase, because you've been wanting to play and you don't want to get back into the singular focus and investment, right? And if so, you need to look at why that is, why you don't want to settle into one thing. Because this is settling into one thing to have an output. So if there's a block around this development part, then it means that there's stuff around what's being output. And you need to figure out what that is preventing you from wanting to settle in on one thing because it's internal. Now, you may also be like, well, I want to focus more on development, but this thing is in the way, or I don't have enough of this, or blah, blah, blah. Ancestors are saying that's actually not true. Whatever it is that you are being called to focus on developing, you actually have the ability to develop, because this is a prison of your own making. All right. Um, which may mean then that the ideas of what you think you are to be developing are not really the things for you to be developing, because if you really don't have the resources for those things, like, it's actually not for you. It's that new thing is being used as a way to not actually double down on the craft that you do have the resources for and to explore development more on. But this energy is strong, and if you don't want to get frustrated with it, if you actually want to make progress, this is the conscious choice that has to be made. This is what's going to shift you into a co-creation of this new soul cycle energy, basically. I mean, to put it bluntly. All right, let's get the sixth house. So sixth house, this actually has to do with your work, so your job. Okay. Now, if you have a business, whether it's on the side of an existing job or if it, pays for your livelihood, this is still like your job. A business is still a job. So whether you're working for yourself or somebody else, like, this is your job. This also does relate to physical health and wellness, as well as the things that you do or do not create rituals around to help you manage and navigate your energy, your life, your responsibilities, etc. This house also represents the karma that you create. So basically, because it's associated with work, the work you put in versus the work you get out. Okay. How you show up as a person versus the response that you get. Now, obviously, like, again, we're not talking about how other people are. This is about how you are showing up, what you have control over. This house also can represent hidden enemies. So folks who are working behind your back, talking about you, jealousy, envy, it's all that kind of stuff as well. It's not outward known enemies. It's like situations where you don't realize that someone specifically is working behind your back. Okay. If you know it's not a hidden enemy, if you have a guess about it, it's not a hidden enemy. All right. Like if you've been able to pick it up, it's not hidden. That's seventh house energy. That's known. Um, it's known enemy, known obstacle. Right. This you don't know about. This is the thing. These are the people in situations that are actually working against you that you're not picking up. Okay. So this is the will, wisdom, and mind card. So this is that trifecta within. Will, that inner fire, mind, divine intelligence, soul, consciousness, and wisdom, the ability to use and navigate all of that. So the higher self consciousness, the Buddha mind, if you will. This is an interesting card to have here in the sixth house. So you have that drive, desire, passion side, and then you have that cool, objective, higher mind side. And you in the middle as a higher self navigating and balancing these two, letting them inform how you show up. So this in particular might be for those folks who are, if it resonates for you, still having difficulty balancing needs and wants and inner world life experiences, etc., spirit and outer world, and struggling to make that balanced. The thing about this though, this is one of the lower six houses, so this is still ultimately about you. And again, coming back to this first house, regardless of the external, this balance is something that is to be cultivated within the self. Again, this is hard to do. This is masterful work, but the not adjusting of self just because externally the world doesn't match up to the internal world. This is very hard to do, to be able to maintain this inner light, even if the external world is not reflecting that, or if it doesn't have, or if it doesn't match the vision that you have for what that looks like in the physical. Because yes, the goal is to, well, for some, not for all. Um, thank you, Spirit. The goal is to get to this place within, not to get to this place without in the outside world. The goal, your work, your karma, sixth house in this world is to get to this place within. That regardless of what you have, where you're with, where you are, what you're doing, that this state, both as an internal experience as well as how you run yourself in your life, whether you have a lot of money or you have a little money, uh, whether you have a lot of clothes or you don't have a lot of clothes, whether you have a lot of friends or you don't have a lot of friends, whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. How are you showing up? What are those things about you and how you run your life, how you run the things that you're responsible for, regardless of other people, places, and things? As much as possible, what can remain unchanged in the approach? Um, Obviously, like, this is an adaptable energy. Sixth house is a mutable house, so you adapt to certain situations, but you adapt to situations based on your values, your principles, your frameworks for dealing with certain things, right? The internal balance or the alignment remains the same. And then when, you know, resources, external things outside of your control shift, you know, you shift, etc. But this is actually the goal, because the shift for the outer manifestation of things um okay, spirit, I see where you're going. The shift for the outer manifestations of things, if we really want to enter into the new cycle, has to come from that. Like, these energies are very clear. It's beautiful. But there is a theme that's starting to really emerge now that I can see clearly. And it's very much aligned with the Aries energy. Like, there's honestly, what this feels like is a is where the focus on other, or we'll just say the counterpart to Aries, the Libra energy, has been very much in the negative aspect of things, because yeah, it just has. And it's fine because we've been in a period where um the outer planetary energy has been externally focused, but that's not the focus that we're going to be shifting into for the next very long while. Um, it's soul, itself, it's what's actually true and what's actually authentic, really getting to why we're doing things, all of that. So, okay, let me see what else is here, or if there's anything else that needs to come through. But similar to that first house message, it's not just about, showing up as you are, but it is a practical house. So it's again, regardless of circumstances, whether you have a little or a lot, how are you caring for and managing and being in routine um, for what you have? Like, if you have less, why would you then care for yourself less? And if you have more, why would you loosen discipline or morals or ethics? Like, yeah. Welcome, welcome. Mhm. Yeah, that's the message. Like, nothing else is really coming through. Um, This is very much giving. Don't give your don't give your power away. Don't give your power away. Get strong in self and get strong in using your power in your life, what you are responsible for, regardless of what you have, what it is in relationship to what you think you should have, etc. Like um it actually is irrelevant, which, from spirit's perspective, like there is no scale in things. How you are with the little things is how you are with the big things in a lot of ways, and vice versa. But sometimes we do change those rules or that orientation and how we show up. And this is saying, nah, keep the same energy regardless. And that still has to be built off of this first housework and the second housework and that fourth housework in particular, to keep that sixth house in balance and to stay in a place of good karma for the soul. Good karma doesn't mean no obstacles. It just means aligned with the soul. I'll say that again. Good karma doesn't mean no obstacles. Good karma means aligned with the soul. When we're talking about the individual. Now, of course, there is karma within the group. That's a separate thing. But for the individual, that's what this is. All righty. We're going to play the game of how long we can go before I need to go to the bathroom. All right, seventh house. We have 8 of Roses. So Sangha community. So there's a variety of people and cultures here, spiritual beliefs, etc. in the seventh house. So seventh house, as I mentioned earlier, this can talk about actual direct enemies that you have, known enemies. This is important one-on-one relationships. So these are long-term relationships. So long-term, best friend, long-term romantic partner, to be a business partner, but it's long-term energy with that for these for this house. So what's coming up that we're being asked to address in this context by the ancestors? So my eye got brought to this empty chair over here, and I got the sense that one of these people, like, basically made the decision to leave the table that they were sitting at on their own and join the others. Now, what's key about this is that the joining of the others is not necessarily the joining of others who are like them, whether that is within gender or race, even spiritual beliefs, etc. Is just join in and be part of the conversation. Um, so for some of you, this may be tied to this third house message that came through already. But I think this actually needs to go a little bit deeper because this house specifically does talk about contracts and deeper engagement. There's a lot that's coming through with this card that I actually never noticed before. So one of the things that is important to see is that they're in this particular house, but there are also houses all around. So the community or person or people that you are connecting to, again, depending on the context, so take it as it resonates for you. Because romantic partnership, business, whatever this is, everybody has their own house. So they are already built up in comparable ways, not necessarily the same way, because again, everybody is different, but they're all built up that either one other person or people are built up in a way that is comparable to you. Okay. So this isn't similar to pick me energy. This isn't Captain Save a Ho energy. This isn't, I see the potential of you and I want to help bring you along because this idea is great, et cetera, et cetera. Whoever is building, everybody in that building together, again, your other or you with group needs to be at the same level. So same level of experience, skin in the game, etc. Because this is very much giving collaboration to build something. So in a relationship context, this would be like attempting to have a serious relationship with somebody who has not had a long-term serious relationship, even though you have. Or, whether that has been, you've been uh, married before, or you've been with someone for like, 10 years or what have you. But like there's only certain things that are learned over time of really being with someone and um, having skin in the game, so to speak. Right? Like, or, there's so many scenarios of relationships, so I'll leave that to your own understanding. But so there's that. With business, this could be um, somebody has a great idea for a business, but they just don't have physical resources for the type of business that they want to do, but they've also never had a business of their own, or at least gotten to, if they have, they haven't gotten to a certain point in revenue generation before you came along. That's not the one. Because there are certain things, experiences that are learned. That is just like they're a potential employee, they're not a potential business partner, right? Now you may be that person, another person might be more, experienced. It's really going to depend. If this is creative, this could be maybe y'all want to put on, you and a group of people want to like uh, put on like an artist showcase, but one of the folks has either never been involved in putting on events and or um, have actually been producing work that has been shown or performed or presented. Like that's actually not part of their thing, right? Like wherever you are, other people need to be in the same vein in order for the collaboration to work. The growth is going to happen in a more balanced way because everybody is kind of starting in the same way. Okay, so it's not about people staying in the same position. It's like we need to be starting in the same place because then it's going to be clearer and easier to have a shared dream and goal. of where we want to get to. And that's going to be much more grounded and well informed when you've gone through some shit, the ups and the downs and the in between. And if you're trying to connect with one person or a group of people or building something more where you have more skin in the game and that has not happened, ancestors are saying no, because this is the caught in the ruins behavior, caught in the ruins uh, kind of self-imprisonment behavior that's been in play. It hasn't been working because this has not been happening. Again, regardless of context. So if you want to break out of this, this is on you to do. This has nothing to do with other people. This has to do with decisions that you make. And again, going back to what was coming through in the beginning about not rushing things, like that sense of like, I have to do this, I have to do this, um, that unsettled energy, that's ego, that's not spirit. Stay focused and then you'll know when to act, but don't waste the energy trying to make something happen just because you see potential. That's not what this is. Because these folks are going to be here for a while discussing things. This is going to take time. And the only way it's actually going to move forward is if they have common ground. Real talk, I don't even think that like everybody's being shown here because this seems kind of like cut off. So this may also be a situation where, for some of you, wherever this resonates, there may be more people that need to actually come into the picture, or like other influences need to come into the picture in order for this to move forward. And there has to be patience for that from you and from the group, if it's multiple people, but at the very least from you. Like there's more that has to be brought into consideration for this collaboration to work. Now, again, if it doesn't have to do with other people and it's you, it may have to be you need to get yourself to a place where you can actually come to the table and meet them where they are. Because that may be the way that you are preventing yourself from breaking outside of this prison that you've created or that you've been in, whether you created it or not. But the staying here is on you. So that may be the case as well. You may have to be the one that has to make some changes. And once changes, meaning like those experiences and that time and the experience and the achievement of a certain thing has to happen before you can kind of be part of this conversation. And once that happens, the ancestors are saying like that will open up. But choosing not to see that or do that work or do that self-inquiry is this. So whatever the situation is for you, whatever the context is, if it is resonating, then that's that message for seventh house. All right, moving right along for the eighth house, another money house. So this is more, well, in the context of other, this would be shared resources with another. Okay, what you both bring to the table. This could also be investments, loans, debt that you're taking on for a particular reason or purpose. Okay. So this is the Seven of Scrolls, intricacies and industry. So details and context for this. Okay, so this similar to the second house card, which is built on the foundation of the first house, this is built off of the foundation of the seventh house. Um, this is in relation to a romantic partner or partners. Um, this is about getting into the nitty gritty of things in terms of what you all are trying to build for the future, if you are trying to build for the future. So when those conversations or those topics come up, um, you can't dance around the details. Now, since this is a money house, this is specifically about money related things. So this could actually be your finances, your credit score, your loans, your debts, your assets, etc., and theirs, and what you realistically are both working with. You know, what challenges would be there, where responsibilities would lie, um, what would happen in terms of emergencies, like all those types of things. Though these are those conversations. Seven of Scrolls for the eighth house. So if we are wanting to build something new together, because it's already under construction, so that means for those where this is applicable to you, this is starting to bubble up. Again, there's no rush with this. So as hiccups come, because hiccups are going to be there, that's just life. Like for the most part, it's not going to be a perfect situation for one or both parties. So if that is your situation where it's not ideal, or the other person's situation, there has to be, of course, love and consideration and care around that. But just because it's uncomfortable or there might be big feelings around around that is irrelevant to the fact that those details have to be addressed, because you're not going to be able to grow in those deeper ways that you want to grow without having the maturity to have these conversations and to think about these long term. And there may have to be a delay on certain things, or you may be able to move faster on certain things after these conversations, but those conversations have to happen. That's the intricacies part of it. Okay. So you're gonna have to get into the money talks. I've never actually noticed that there's a person in the background. I've literally only been able to see, like my eyes have literally only seen this person here with the pendulum. There's actually a person here in the back. um, so that also can talk about a sharing of duties as well. It's like once that clarity is there, then one person can focus on one thing and one person can focus on another. One person might actually be better about research analysis, the planning aspect of it. Another might be more focused on practical logistics. I mean, they're both practical logistics, but uh, working on the resource allocation, right? So that's something for the relationship side of things. So it could be anything. It could be getting a home together. It could be um, merging families if both of you have kids. It could be starting a family if you want to have children. You get it. Could be, somebody wanting to decide to not work. Right? What would that loss of income look like? How would you have to adjust things? So it can run the gamut. But if you want progress to happen, the conversations have to happen. Okay. If the progress has not been happening, it's not been happening because there's not been an honest conversation. It's been avoided, or there's been a lack of like really looking at the reality of things, and thus a plan can't be made. And the thing is that this message is in part about like literally getting the physical thing that you guys might be working towards, but also at a bigger context, this is about the practice of having the conversations that need to be had related to the thing that you both want, is really what this is about. Um, with anything with like, investments and stuff like that, work with a financial advisor. Like this isn't I'm gonna figure it out on my own and Google it and ask ChatGPT. No. The answer's very the answer is very clear. Like, get a financial advisor, please. You might have to shop around for one that you really vibe with, but get a financial advisor. For business, this is feeling like, if you're like in a business partnership, this is feeling like a delegation of duties is needing to happen because there's a lack of, again, progress being made because of a recurring and longstanding issue. There has to be a delegation of responsibilities and roles like that needs to be clear now. One person needs to be steering the ship in basically the CEO position. That's this person here. The other person is more focused on operations. So if it's a partnership, like there has to be a clear separation. And operations person has to trust CEO person, the strategy person. Because the strategy person is saying, this is where we're going and this is what we're building. And this is a natural place of conflict. Okay. All righty. Moving on to ninth house. We have Eight of Scrolls. And this is paths unknown. So ninth house is another education house, but this is longer term education. So this would be going for a degree. So associate's degree, bachelor's, master's, PhD. This would be long distance travel. This is also mentorship as well. So seeking wise counsel or having that counsel there available to you and for you. This is also education about the bigger world that is beyond your third house world. This is the world, the third house world is the world that you create for yourself for the most part, whether consciously or unconsciously. The ninth house is the world that is beyond your control that you are essentially thrust into. So it's like, being the king of the neighborhood, but then like being in the big city or being downtown and being in a really big marketplace, right? Going from rural town to big city, like that's the big city energy is the ninth house. So it's like, okay, how do I navigate and pull all of this first to sixth house self and work that I do into this broader context? Like what is this world and where do I want to fit into this world and start to kind of make my mark or like kind of stake my claim? That's what the consideration is for the ninth house. So with Eight of Scrolls, Paths Unknown, with this being here at the heart of the message, is interesting. Because this says paths unknown, but what this card is really about is making a decision about the path that you want to go down on. So what then is the person considering? There's all this information that is available. The nature spirits are showing up again here, as you can see in the imagery. So it's like, little a little fox, squirrel, birds there, raccoon, the trees, like the support is there, friends and family, the physical and the unseen. So then this question is, okay, what else is there to consider? What goes into that decision about the path to take? This implies that we know exactly the path to take, but we have been choosing not to, or we haven't been able to take it um, for a certain amount of time for reasons outside of our control. But now we're in a place where the only thing that is left is we have to wake up to the fact that, like, oh, I can actually like go down this path now that I have chosen, um, and kind of switch gears into that. Um, so this, just the call to that might be enough to kind of wake you up into that, or if you've been in this kind of I can't move because of circumstances for so long that it's like, oh God, I have to get myself back into the space where I can believe again to move. Right. So depending on what the situation is for you, take that as it resonates. But what is clear is that the ruminating on what path to take because of not being sure is not true. You do actually know, you just might have forgotten or might have gotten to a place of self doubt. So now it's time to shift out of that and take the path that you know you are to take. Whatever that means for you. I don't know if this is necessarily new path. It feels like it'd be a continuation. It doesn't matter. Your soul is really clear. Your soul knows what's up. Those cards came out real fast. You know what's up. You know the path. So whatever this stuff is, why ever it rose within you, identify it, address it, um, and get back on the path. Because this is about really engaging in the world. Now, I will say, because I didn't mention it with this card, but this card also has the industry card, so it talks about the context in which you're living in, and that very much is ninth house, right? It's what we're choosing to build within the world in which we're living in, and this very much has to do with work and life purpose with the ninth house. Um, so it's like you know the context in which you're living in. There's great things about it, there's not great things about it, but there is a choice about, okay, this is where I'm going to stake my claim and to grow and develop and show up and take risk and make an effort to um, have a place of position within the industry, within the bigger context, within the bigger city, within the bigger world that is outside of my curated third house. So that's necessarily going to mean interacting with folks that I don't really like, that's dealing with obstacles and like all the things like that is part of the thing. Um, that is part of the process. So I mean, I'm hearing just get to it. Okay. Moving on to 10th house, which is literally about the 10th house represents how you then are known and are seen of within that greater world, within that greater marketplace, within the greater industry. So this is, how you show up as yourself, but this is the work of your hand in the world. And again, reveals your success in being able to do so, the ease in that or lack thereof. So we have the King of Roses here. Roses again, because we already have the Queen of Roses, right? Also, again, focus on the flowers. And he also has different flowers in his hands in some way, shape, or form compared to what's actually around him. Similar to Queen of Roses in that second house of money. What I like with this imagery, Queen of Roses is inside. This is that internal message that was coming through. The King of Roses is outside. He's in a specific environment. So this is industry, a very specific kind of marketplace. So this could be, again, city, industry, the country that you're in. Like those are specific contexts that you're in. So he's outside in this context. And navigating in that. And he has 2 roses. The queen had 1. Right? But there's so much different types of foliage that's around now in this space. A lot of players. So very, very good representation of this energy. There's a lot of contemplation because, again, this is the context, like caught in the ruins, of how to make this thing, this 9th house energy, this path that has been chosen, work within this greater context. How essentially I'm getting the word propagate. Is it able to be propagated? How much can it be propagated? What's actually realistic for it? There's a lot to consider with that. Because it's not just your desire, it is also what really is available in the bigger context in which you are associated. Because this is the space of like, oh, well, public opinion really matters here. Public sentiment, whether it's directed towards me or just directed towards other things, really matter here. What's happening in a completely different industry matters here. Who I am in terms of how I present in gender, style, speaking, all of that matters here. So it's it's been a challenge in part because a lot of this 6th house, the first 6 houses work has been a challenge as well. But this is hard to do in general. But the ancestors are saying, thankfully, the challenge at this point in the process, not what has been, but at this point in the process, is now only you. So whatever's going on in the big city, in the big marketplace, is actually not a hindrance. There is openness, there's considerations, like there's nothing that's actually stopping propagation, so to speak, or being seen clearly for who and what you are, or what it is that you bring to the table, or being able to follow soul purpose, whether that's connected to a job or not. Now it's just you. You can get out of whatever the rut is. You can actually make a shift in work and reputation in your staking a claim in the big city, so to speak. You can actually do that now. So again, It might be as simple as like you, if this is resonating for you, you taking action on what you weren't able to take action on because of external circumstances, or or this could be a situation where it's like um, you were discouraged and have been discouraged or fearful for so long that you haven't been actually fully engaging with that ninth house work. So take whatever resonates. But if you're someone that struggles with holding your own in the world, which is 10th house energy, then this message is for you. Holding your own in the world is not power over or like whatever, right? But it's like, no, I'm here. Right? But like if you can't mix with people, like if being outside of your third house bubble is a struggle, meaning 10th house is weak, then this is the message for you from the ancestors. At this point, this is self-created and you need to get out of that. Because this is not an introvert thing. It's actually a sixth house thing. Sixth house thing. So go back to that message if you need. Alrighty. Now let's get to 11th house. And this will be our last house because we started with the 12th house. So 11th house, we have number 8, Archangel Raphael. So we have our second archangel. First one was Uriel. So 11th house literally is that house related to well, it's actually a couple things. So one, this is particular groups and associations. So this isn't friends kind of vibe. This is groups, associations within the bigger world that we're part of. Okay, so networking energy, right? This is also dreams, goals, desires that we are going after. So it's obviously is connected to the 5th house. So this is tapping into what could be. So this is what I would call the ikigai house, where you have that intersection of this and this, so 6th and 10th house, ultimately creating the greater vision that you have for yourself with that 4th house energy. So that's being able to essentially have as much of the outer world as possible, reflecting both inner world and inner desires of what you would prefer in your physical environment. That's 11th house. This is the ideal. This is actually the mountaintop, not 10th house. It's all of those things. All right. So it's the great ideal that we're all striving for. And the thing is, we don't know if we're going to get it, right? But the goal is to go towards this. This is the end of the rainbow. This is where the pot of gold is. This is what we're efforting towards. But this arises, again, like I said, out of those other pieces. So wherever any of those individual pieces are not working, or all of them, this is hard to come by. Now, we already have experience, like I mentioned earlier, of achieving certain things. So we've gotten tastes of this a bit. But, the further along we go, the more experience we have, the more skills we develop, the more wisdom and connections we make, more wisdom we cultivate, the more connections we make. We're like, I want more of this for all aspects of life, because again, I want inner world and inner desires, and what I see, vision, those two things, matching with the external world. So that's what we're going for with 11th house. Now, Raphael is coming through. Raphael usually associated with healing, also communication. His heart is shining, as well as there's an offering there. So this showing that both and, along with being in the world. So that, again, inner world, the work that you do, and being involved in the physical world with the variety of good, neutral, and bad. It's all of that. This is the ikigai. Okay. Now, Raphael in particular, if you are drawn to that archangel, or if you want to practice connecting with that archangel, may be helpful in clarifying within this 12 house ancestor messages, uh, where to focus your attention and energy to kind of get you over the hump and kind of get the momentum going to get you on that path. But you don't have to if that's not something that's resonant for you. But this again, central message about being caught in the ruins, this not coming, being able to come up and show up for you. If any of this message is coming through for you, is because of where you're keeping yourself back. Now, which part of that is, again, is going to depend. But as I said, this message is about those things that are under your control. Whether it's a mindset thing or actions you need to take, but this is stuff that's under your control. I'm feeling for a lot of you where this particular message is resonating about, the ikigai. It seems like for a lot of you, not all, definitely not all, this piece, the green light that's being shown here, is a big issue, which is the 10th house stuff. Like not wanting to be here and engaged with that which is outside of your preferred third house energy. And so that is a big point of internal blocks that you need to break through. For others of you, it's the other side of things is you don't actually know where you want to go with that fourth house energy. You don't actually have a vision for what the outer world would look like to match what you feel or would prefer inside. Like there's not a specific vision of what's possible, and that has to be worked on. Okay, that's for some of you. So specifically, if this message is resonating for you about having the ikigai show up in your life and be manifest, it's going to be fourth, sixth, or 10th house. One of those, two of those, or all three that have to be addressed. It's some combination of those. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me see if there's anything else. No, that's it. That's it. Um, the message that was just coming through that was confirmed with another card I saw is that you're here for this reason. You're not here to be disassociated into just your little third house world. Like you are actually here to be engaged in the bigger world, ninth and 10th house energy, but really ninth house, right? Um, that's the whole point. Even if you're being, even if your call is to be, a monk or a nun, you still are dealing with this energy. It's the same thing. So it's for all souls. It's for all of us. But that's why we're here, is to find that. Well, is to live it. We're finding aspects of it over time, but we want to live it. And we want to live it fully. So for some, this may be a context where you have some aspects of um, this matching of inner and outer that has been achieved, and you want more and more, like that's fine. And so whatever that next is for more that is available for you to have. But to be clear, again, because the sixth house is still prominent, it's like even if external circumstances shift you out of having the Ikigai experience for a period of time, and you have to adapt and adjust because of whatever. Um, it's not a permanent thing until you die, right? So if you still wake up, that means then there is an opportunity either that same day or in the near future um, for that shift back to the preferred external cultivation of things um, within the whatever the new context is that has shifted and changed for you in the broader world. So it's important not to, because part of this caught in the ruins might be oh, I, excuse me, achieved what I wanted, but it didn't stay. And that might have created a sense of resentment, bitterness, disillusionment with yourself, with God, with the universe, some distrust, because it's like, well, I want this thing and it hasn't completed, but that is the sixth house not being balanced, because this is the goal. It's like, regardless of external circumstances, this has to be settled, because the external is always going to change. There's always going to be new paths coming up. So with, you remember the message from this house, with what I have, how am I managing cultivating that? Because how I am with the small things is how I am with the big thing. And it's like, regardless of my feelings, I still have to do this. Regardless of whether I have more or whether I have less, I still have to do this. And so if you are taking your own self into this space with that, that's what you have to look at with the Ikigai. Because this is a living word energy. It's not a static thing, it's not a dead thing. Just like this energy is not a static thing, it's not a dead thing. The only thing that is unchanged is the inner spirit, the inner light, which you can actually see in the halo there. Okay, it's the undying spirit. And yes, it's hard. Yes, you're going to feel all the feelings, and that's fine. But again, the message of the ancestors are we're at a place right now where things are shifting. They're alerting you to that fact so you can get back to the cultivation of a greater experience of the Ikigai for this 11th house message. Because now you have greater influence on things, whatever that's going to be for you. Okay. All right. Look at that. Any questions? Let me get closing guidance, but this is the energy, like I said, is really beautiful. Beautiful cards that came out. There's a lot of opportunity for growth. So there may be multiple places where you felt resonance. There may only be one. There will definitely be at least one. But I would honestly say take each thing to heart, because if there is only like one area that resonates, based on how the messages were coming through, it is connected to something else. So watch all of the messages for all 12 houses just to make sure you see what's for you and what's not for you, and see where the connections occur. And make sure you get those other messages and do that work. But again, we started with the 12th house because we are shifting from that Pisces astrological cycle into Aries astrological cycle. So we started there. So for everyone, start there. Ah. So closing guidance is Knight of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and Three of Swords with Two of Wands on the bottom. So what this is telling me is, again, we have the energy and the motivation and grounded wisdom to do the things that we need to do. And the thing to watch out for and be mindful of is where disillusionment, heartbreak, fear, etc., has really been clouding our ability to take action and do the things that we need to do. So if it's a mental thing or emotional thing that's gotten in the way, again, this caught in the ruins, recognize that that's what it is. It's not to discount external forces or past experiences, but this message from the ancestors is saying you have the power and the ability to make a shift now. You have the power and ability to make a shift now and turn the wheel. So turn it. You are at a place where you're starting a new cycle. So you really need to watch and pay attention to where that Three of Swords energy, that caught in the ruins energy, is sabotaging you being able to embark on a brand new cycle. Is that is in the background. Unfortunately, it's in the background of that Queen of Pentacles. So it's informing what the Prince of Wands is doing. So that's the overall message from the ancestors. That Three of Swords energy, whatever the context is informing your plans, your perspective, and the actions that you take or do not take, because not taking action is also an action. So if you are not getting the results that you are wanting right now, please understand that it's that Three of Swords energy, this caught in the ruins energy that is doing that. It is mindset, it is emotions, it is something that is stopping you from taking action. Because ultimately, like, action is what moves things along. What you do or don't do turns the wheel, regardless of how you feel. All right. Um, except for, it seems like, the second house, I will say. So, for those where that second house resonated, go get that message. But for everything else, all right. So, those are our messages. I hope that you enjoyed this long ass live stream. But we're here for it. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, the January astrology report is up on the blog. The 2026 astrology planning workshop is now available to get, as well as the 2026 spiritual new year. So definitely check those out. And then I'll be updating my availability for sessions Sunday. So check that out and get in where you fit in for a session. For new folks or for folks who want to do long-term coaching, you would book a full spectrum session. For returning folks, you can do a regular individual session, or if you have business-related questions, please book the business session for that as well. Okay. You are welcome. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for staying up with me because we were here for a minute. We were. Again, for any new folks, please do subscribe to the channel. Please like as well. Sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. I only send out, you know, newsletters intermittently. I don't spam people's inboxes. So sign up, please, because that's the way to stay connected to me, regardless of what these platforms do. And if you would like to donate to this work, donation there is scrolling at the bottom or in the description below. You are welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the flowers. I appreciate you. Thank you for the hearts, the brown hearts especially. Thank you. It is received and accepted, very much so. Yeah, I think that's it. So God willing, I will see y'all next week, either live stream or I'll pre-record depending on how busy I am, but you will get a Oracle Talks regardless next week. Oh, happy new moon. We do have a new moon on Sunday. That's going to be Capricorn at 28 degrees. So wherever you have Capricorn 28 degrees in your chart, that's where this new moon is occurring. And in February, we will be having, of course, I'll put this in the next astrology report, but we are coming up on a full moon lunar eclipse. That's going to be closing out the Virgo new moon eclipse that we had in September, I believe. So it's going to be closing out this South Node clearing energy. So the astrology is supporting this work that we are talking about right now with the ancestors. So lean into it. Nothing about this in any way, shape, or form should be painful. Again, the energy is very beautiful. It's very supportive. So please just have the courage to sit with that Three of Swords, whatever it is, and do the work that is being addressed here in these messages, because our elevated, honorable, beneficial ancestors want the best for us, and our soul wants the best for us as well. So let's have a good new astrological cycle, shall we? All right. Love and blessings to you. Please share this with anyone that you feel would benefit and is appreciated. And God willing, I'll see you next time. Bye.